Overall, considering how scared I was about this build, I'm really impressed. We had way more options than I thought we would, and it came together pretty nicely, I think. Hi, hey, hello, my name is Sarah, and welcome back to my Sims 4 Alphabet Build Challenge, where I build houses in the shapes of different letters of the alphabet because I'm not a good builder, so I make silly builds on purpose. And today, in the Alphabet Build Challenge, we are up to the letter V. And for the letter V, I was terrified because I really didn't think we were going to have very many furniture choices, because one little twist I have on this challenge, and I'm going to mention it now, is I also use build and buy options whose titles start with the same letter of the alphabet that I'm building with. The example of this, so you understand what I mean, that I always give, is for the letter D house, I had to use this toilet bush for the toilet because it was the Judy Calls toilet bush, and we didn't have any other toilet that started with the letter D. That's the little extra fun twist I have on this challenge. It makes me use things that I would never normally use. So with that being said, let's jump into The Sims 4 really quickly, have a look at this shell of the letter V and the floor plan that I had laid out, and then we'll get into the speed build. So here we have the shape of the letter V. So it's not like your typical letter V, but it's gonna have to do. So with that being said, let's have a look at the floor plan. We have one great big room down the bottom here. This ends up being where your Sims walk in. There's a door off the side here, and this is one big kind of living space. We kind of have like a little living nook tucked over in here. We've got some skill items happening down here. This is a bathroom. This is the bathroom that the whole house would have access to. Then up this side we do have the kitchen here, and then this room I decided I wanted to try and have a dining room if I could, so I planned on this being the kitchen and this being a dining room. And then here we have a children's bedroom, and then on the other side of the letter V we have the parents' bedroom here and an ensuite bathroom for them. So that is the floor plan of the letter V. So now let's get into the speed build, because I got lots of things I gotta talk to you about with this house. Because honestly, you guys, I was so scared that we were not going to have options with the letter V, but we had so many options, because I forgot that two keywords started with the letter V, and they were vintage and Victorian. And honestly, it was vintage and Victorian that saved this build. So we kind of have interesting vibes with this house, but that tends to be the case with the Alphabet Build Challenge because it's all higgledy-piggledy. You very rarely get to choose the vibe of the home. So we've got very Victorian windows from most of our windows, and our wallpapers are also very Victorian, kind of from the Vampires pack. So I wanted to try and steer away from like a dark color scheme though, because I've been doing a lot of dark color schemes with my builds lately, because, you know, if it's bad you just make it dark and then it looks okay. So I wanted to steer away from that, so I tried to make this build a bright and fun build. I know you're not getting that vibe at the moment with how I'm furnishing this at the moment, but I do make the changes to some of the wallpapers that I put in, change the swatches to some bright colorful wallpapers. So putting the furniture that we have in here, like I said, we had way more options than I thought we would, so I was so excited once I saw how much furniture we were going to have, and once I realized that we pretty much were going to be able to have a fully furnished home, I was really excited. That being said, for the twist that I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, there are some items that you need to have in a Sims house in order to make it functional. Think like a fridge, like a toilet, like a shower. If I cannot find one of those essential items using the letter that I'm furnishing with, I'll go with the next letter closest to it. The example that I'll use for this one is the fridge. We didn't have a fridge that started with the letter V, so I went with the next closest in alphabetical order, and I'm pretty sure the toilet is the ambassador toilet. I think they may be the only two things that I had to substitute for something else though. I think everything else in this build starts with the letter V. Super impressed with that. So like I said, we have way more options than I thought we would. Thank you so much, Vintage and Victorian, for both starting with the letter V. That being said, I was looking ahead while I was getting all of these furniture items out, and I was having a look at what was going to be coming for the letter W, because W is next, and oh boy, I actually am scared for the letter W, because we're really not going to have a lot. We've got some options, but not a lot. So back to this build though. The layout of this kind of changes, and I know you're seeing we've got a lot of like gray happening in this common space, but I do end up changing that. I end up changing the color scheme in multiple spots throughout this house. Once I kind of did the parents' bedroom and realized how fun that was in the blue swatches, I knew I wanted to make this bright and colorful. So I do end up changing the main area, that living space, to a different color, and also changing the layout a little bit as well, making it feel a little bit more cohesive. But we are in the kitchen now, and I do just have to say, spoiler a freaking alert, the kitchen is my favorite room of this entire house. The way the kitchen turned out, I was a little bit nervous because of the shape. I'd given myself kind of an odd shape with the diagonal walls. The layout turned out really freaking cool, and with the windows and the kind of the color scheme that I had, I was super impressed with that. The only thing I do have to say is there's no stovetop or oven, so your sim will only be able to have quick meals. Thinking about making this house a functional house, technically your sims don't need a stove because they can grab quick meals just from the fridge. So technically, out of all of the appliances you have for your kitchen, the only one that really is essential is the fridge, which is why I went with the fridge that was next closest in alphabetical order rather than going with a stove. So looking into the dining room, I've got some interesting things to talk about the dining room as well, and the kids' bedroom. You'll see I have 2 beds in the kids' bedroom at the moment, but that does end up changing once I see how much more furniture that I was able to have. And oh my god, the speed build is done! You have just seen the bare bones of this house, the basic furniture. You haven't seen landscaping, you haven't seen the extra decorating where I go in and find all the little extra things that are not essential furniture that start with the letter V. So you haven't seen any of that. So with that being said, let's jump back into The Sims 4 so that I can show you the completed letter V house. So this is it from top down, and I've decided to show you top down first because I wanted to show you the roofing. I'm actually kind of proud of this roofing. It took me ages to work it out because I'm not a builder and roofing is like my enemy when it comes to building. So I'm really proud of it though. So we've got a few different pieces going on here. We've got 2 pieces just on these straight parts, and then we've got another 2 pieces on the angled parts here, and they work as seamlessly as I could make it. There's a little unfortunate thing happening here where they don't quite line up here angle-wise, but they line up here, they line up here. It is the best that I could do. I do apologize, you guys, but let's have a look at the front of this letter V house now. The lighting on this lot, kind of strange today. Don't know what's going on, but we do have more of a red color scheme, like a reddy brown, kind of earthy color scheme for this house. So you may notice that there is no trees on this lot. That is because none of the outdoor landscaping that we had started with the letter V, and because it's not an essential item, we don't have trees or bushes or flowers or rocks or anything. None of that. All we have are the plants that came with indoor plants. So I was able to use a couple of them to frame the front door here. And then we've got these lights as well. Now, you may also be seeing this stand thing that came with The Sims 4 for rent. It's the Vegan Vittles Night Market stand. I don't know what the deal is with the night market. I really haven't played with The Sims 4 for rent a whole lot, so I really don't know what the go is with those stands, how they function or anything. But I thought, you know, we've got this whole great big space out the front of this house. Let's just put this stand out here. Maybe you could have that be a little side hustle thing for your sim. Not that anyone's going to download this house. Totally fine. I always talk as if people are going to download these houses, and they're not. They're just for the funny ha-has. So when you walk through the door, this is what you see. We are in the great big room. And like I said, I changed the color scheme in here, even though we've got a lot of Victorian furniture in here. I didn't want it to be super dark. So I did a mixture of colors in here because with some of the furniture options that I had for the letter V, we had to just go with some mixed colors. So we did have to go with this fireplace because an unspoken rule of this challenge is if there is a fireplace that starts with the letter you're building with, you must use a fireplace. And the same goes with carpet. If there's any carpet that starts with the letter you're building with, you must use carpet. So we didn't have any carpet that started with the letter V. As a matter of fact, we only had this Victorian flooring. It comes from the Vampires pack. It's all we had that started with the letter V. So even in the bathrooms, we have to use this wood flooring. So this is the living room though. There is no TV, and because I kind of used to deem that TVs were an essential item, now not so much. There's other ways that your Sims can have fun, and there are other ways that your Sims can have fun in this build. Swing around, we got to use my favorite couch in the entire game, which is the couch that came with paranormal stuff. Love this couch, love it in this swatch, super fun. I might go this way into the parents' bedroom first. You saw a lot of it in the speed build. Not much has really changed in this room, so we're gonna have a look at it finished now. There's just a couple of little extra decor bits and pieces here. It's very blue. There's a lot of mixed patterns going on in here, but it's still super fun, I think. So the vibes that I kind of got for this family as well, I talk about this generally in the build because it happens when I'm making these builds. There's generally a vibe that I get. They're a very creative family, and I feel like it's the mum of this house. The mother of this house may have painted the swatches here on the dresser, may have done the little flowers on the side of the bookshelf here, but it seems like the mum in this house to me is super creative, does a lot of creative stuff, and maybe even works from home just making stuff. Maybe works the little stand out the front of the house, I don't know. So that's the bedroom. Let's go into the bathroom though, and straight away you'll be noticing there is no sink because we did not have a sink that started with the letter V, and this was a choice that I had to make with myself over whether I deemed sinks to be truly essential. And I decided that if we have a shower that starts with the letter V, which we did have a shower that started with the letter V, and we had a bin that started with the letter V, which we did, we had this dumpster that started with the letter V, that maybe I didn't actually need a sink, because there's ways for your Sims to gain hygiene, and there's also somewhere for your Sims to throw away their dirty dishes. So I decided that for this build, a sink was not an essential item. We also had no decor, like I said just before, so there's nothing on these counters. And then we do have the most disgustingly hideous swatched bathtub I have ever seen in my life. But it's a bathtub that started with the letter V, so I knew that I wanted it in this build. And then the swatches on it are just very unfortunate. So this was the swatch that was closest to the color scheme I was going with for this house. So that is the ensuite bathroom. So moving back into the main room now, and you're going to be able to see more of it, so from the other direction. So it kind of just flows better having the bar over on that wall than it did before. We've got this beautiful little buffet table thing here that I decided to put. That's where you'd put your keys and stuff. That's what I thought in my head anyway. So we do also have a bar, and we have a candle making station. This is the first of the creative skill items that you'll be seeing here. I also forgot to mention we do have the virtuoso violin over here, so that's another creative skill item here. Let's go into the common bathroom though, the family bathroom here. This is the bathroom that everyone has access to. It's very small, but we really didn't need a lot of space in here. It's got everything that you need. Let's go into the kitchen though, my abso-freaking-lute favorite room of this house. I really love the vibes of this kitchen and how it turned out, considering we didn't have enough to make it a fully furnished kitchen, and honestly there's not even a lot of decor in here, so it's not super different to what you saw in the speed build. But let's just go and take a look, shall we? I really like it. I definitely think it's my favorite kitchen of the entire alphabet build series, and that's a pretty bold claim to make. I've had some pretty nice ones that are fully furnished in the alphabet build series, so really happy with how this turned out though. I love the layout, and I love having this little bar seating in here as well. That's going to be kind of essential when we talk about the dining room. So with that being said, I suppose let's go and take a look inside the dining room. And this is what we've got here. Now, I've got to talk to you about this table. This table is the only table that we had for indoor dining that started with the letter V. And I saw it and I was so excited because it's beautiful. And I was like, yes, we've got a dining table. I can actually have a dining room. However, you may have been seeing in the speed build when I got to the dining room that I was having issues with chairs and this table. I think this table might be bugged, and I'm even going to replay the footage for you right now of me trying to get the freaking chairs to line up to this table. For some reason, none of the chairs that I have would snap to this table. I had 3 different sets of chairs that would work for this kind of table, and none of them would snap to this table. And I know it's not an issue with the chairs because there's a dining table that we end up being able to have outside, and all of the chairs that I have for this build snap to that table outside. So it has to be this table. There is something wrong with this table. Let me know what you think. Maybe this table is just not supposed to have chairs at it, which seems kind of bizarre because it shows up in the dining tables section of Build Buy, so it would suggest to me that you are allowed to have chairs at it. And that being said, this table is not functional in that regard. So we pretty much just have a dining room for decor, and that's about it. But let's move on to the kids' bedroom though, because like I said before, we went from 2 beds down to 1, and that's because we had a lot of like kids' toys and stuff. I wasn't expecting to have so much stuff that I could put into a kid's bedroom with the Victorian dollhouse, with the Void Critter battle station thing. So I needed more space, so I had to get rid of one of the beds. So we've got a lot of the Void Critter stuff. It's definitely a kid's room. And then this swatch on this like tall boy dresser thing, again, it's like mum painted that. That's really pretty. I like that. So there's some things that obviously I would change if I had access to everything and wasn't just limiting myself to the letter V, but for a kid's bedroom in the Alphabet Build series, I'm quite happy with it. So let's go and take a look outside though. So we come back to the main room, and behind the living area here, we do have a door that leads outside. So we don't have any outdoor landscaping, like I said, so I had to be a little bit creative with the outdoor space. We don't even have any tile or anything that could have worked, or even any like ground swatches. So it's just grass out here, but let's go and take a look. So you walk out the door and this is what you see. We've got a little like bench seat here, and then we've got an outdoor dining table. Thank goodness this table existed with the letter V, because we wouldn't have had a functional dining table if this dining table didn't exist. So all of these chairs snapped perfectly to this table. It is a functional table. We've got a little bird nest, and then we've got this beautiful shade sail area with a little flower arranging station, because the flower arranging table starts with the letter V, and all of these flowers that are around it and the little pots as well started with the letter V. So I made this little flower arranging station. I'm sorry, I've just realized we're kind of next door to Meringue's Animal Crossing house that I built, and you can see the mannequin through the window, and it scared me for a second. It really did scare me, so that's funny, but anyway, just ignore that. So with that being said, that is the letter V house, and if you would like to download it, it will be on the gallery. I always put these builds on the gallery. You'll find it under the letter V house, and my gallery ID is sezrawrr, the exact same way it's spelled here. Let's have a quick look at the photos. Nice. Overall, considering how scared I was about this build, I'm really impressed. We had way more options than I thought we would, and it came together pretty nicely, I think. It's definitely not the worst Alphabet build that I've done. And one more thing I will just say as well, it does use a lot of packs, because I'm filtering through every single item in the game to be able to furnish these Alphabet builds, so they always use a lot of packs. I do apologize for that. But you guys, that's all I've got for this video of building a house in The Sims 4 in the shape of the letter V. Like I mentioned earlier, the letter W is next, and I've already seen that we're gonna have an interesting time with that one. I'll just put it that way. It's gonna be an interesting time. So if you'd like to see that or any other Sims videos that I've got coming your way, hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell next to it to be notified of every time that I upload. And if you liked this video, let me know by hitting the like button down below and leave me a comment as well. Struggling to think of an emoji that starts with the letter V. Oh wait, no, hold on. Leave me the vampire emoji, any of the vampire emojis in the comments down below to let me know that you got this far in the video, that you enjoyed the letter V house and how it turned out, and that you're kind of excited and worried like I am for the letter W house as well. But guys, I hope you're having the greatest day ever, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!